Sonic the Hedgehog is my favorite disease. Yeah, I said it, what you gonna do about it, scoliosis? For as long as the world's most famous hedgehog has been spinning through his over 30 years of life, anyone can tell you it's been a bumpy ride. There's been some good times, there's been some bad times, and there's been some... you. With so much stuff to talk about, what can I say that hasn't been infinitely talked to death about before? You've already seen the title. Instead of talking about the games, I'll talk about what both advertises and enhances them. No! CGI, a part of Sonic since its jump to 3D. Today I'll talk about it, its highs, its lows, and how it developed over the years with the growth of technology. Hi, I'm Mr. Hipster, world's greatest dumbass. Let's discuss Sonic CGI. Sonic 3D Blast is an experience. I'd compare it to staring at the sun for 7 hours.
I'm having a blast!
Thankfully, I don't have to play the game, since today's video is relegated to the intros both versions of the game came with. Since it happens to be shorter, let's start with the Genesis version. Okay. Alright, let's start with the pros. This is incredibly impressive for the hardware it was on. I mean, it's 3 decades old. The fact it could do this when it's weaker than your average smart fridge nowadays is insane. Now for the cons. I mean, just look at it. First of all, the image is incredibly bit crushed, so any and all detail is almost impossible to see. Second, it's incredibly boring. Sonic is just running around an open-aw field with some flickies. No style, no substance, no nothing. Not helped by the terrible animation. I mean, Sonic is just running and then slowly jumps into the air. I mean, don't even get me started on the colors. Sonic looks red. I mean, is he a hedgehog or a lobster? The Genesis gets a thumbs down, simple as that. Now let's see what the Saturn has to offer. Wait, this isn't that bad. This is actually pretty good. What? This is an enormous step up from the Genesis. Actual detailed models, colors that don't make my eyes bleed, things that happen. What is this? A good game? No. For one of the first times CGI was used, the Saturn gets a lot right. It does a good job at teaching you what the gameplay and the story is, without telling you a single word, copying the storytelling from Sonic 3. Too bad the gameplay sucks. In short, the Genesis version is a D-, while the Saturn version is a B+. Thank God I'm done with this game. Now for our next contestant. Sonic Adventure. Sonic's jump to 3D. No one else was brave enough to do it, even though I think the game is the definition of mid. You can't deny this game is definitely ambitious for its time. From the story to the voice acting.
Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!
To the levels, to the music. My god, the music. And of course, today's topic, CGI. And wow. The video speaks for itself, this shit's badass. But before we discuss Sonic Adventure CGI, we need a word of context. You see, it was a dark time for Sega HQ. Stocks were low, people had hepatitis, and worst of all, a killer new Sonic game for the Saturn didn't exist. I meant killer as in popular, the only thing Sonic R is killing is my will to live. So for the next generation console, the Dreamcast, Sega decided for Sonic's big comeback, they would do one thing and one thing only to make it a bang. Make it as cool as possible. So Sonic Team decided to overhaul almost every aspect of the classic era to try to make the series more.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night.
Changing the designs, the art style, the style of music, and again, CGI. Alright, I've been stupid for long enough, let's actually explain why this intro works. Short answer, it spoils the game. but in the best goddamn way possible. It shows you the power of the game's main antagonist, Chaos, and the destruction he achieves when he reaches his perfect form. This tells the player right from the jump, this is what happens if you fail. So when you do get into the game and see Dr. Eggman trying to revive Chaos's perfect form, you automatically want to stop him because you've already seen the effects of what happens when he's fully unleashed. No, not that unleashed. We'll get to that later. It also shows off all the game's key characters. Did I forget to mention how fucking cool this intro is? They masterfully edited this to make sure that this intro was as bodaciously tubular as possible. And Crush 40's Open Your Heart is the cherry on top. As for the actual CGI, however, the models and animation hold up surprisingly well. The reason I'm not covering the other CGI cutscenes is that they're just extended cuts from the intro. All in all, Sonic Adventure gets an A in CGI. I'm not giving it an S because the game is mid, but... A man once said that sequels don't hold up to the originals, to which I say, also, you clearly have not seen DreamWorks sequels. Where I'm going with this is that Sonic Adventure 2 is an infinitely better game than Sonic Adventure 1 in almost every conceivable way. But I'd be here forever if I wanted to get into detail about that. Now let's discuss what I'm really here for. CGI. And there's not that much focus on it compared to Sonic Adventure 1. I mean, yeah, it's there, but you're not really gonna see it most of the time during the story. It's only really used pretty sparsely. There are only really a couple moments where CGI is used. Those being Prison Island's explosion, Eggman shooting his dick laser at the moon, the rocket in Pyramid Cave launching into space, the Eclipse Cannon's explosion, Gerald revealing his plan to the world, and finally, the aftermath after the heroes save the day. The game tends to focus more on in-game cutscenes rather than CGI showcases. Do I think this approach works, however?
The answer is yes and no.
On the one hand, I questioned why it needed to be in the game at all if it was going to be this underused. On the other hand, it makes the scenes where CGI is used that much more important. Nobody would take Eggman pissing on the moon seriously if it wasn't in CGI. On the technical side of CGI, however, well, I think I want to beat this child down in the head with a hammer until she dies. You might consider that manslaughter. I'd say no because I don't consider that thing human. When it focuses on the cartoony characters like the animals and Eggman, it's pretty good, but when it's focusing on the realistic humans, it kind of falls flat in its face. But most of the time, we're not really seeing any CGI of the characters, just CGI of events. When it's doing its job and focusing on the spectacle, I think Sonic Adventure 2 does a really good job with CGI. So I'm giving it an A tier. God damn it, the only thing Sonic Adventure 2 is worse at than Sonic Adventure 1. Okay, what's next on the list?
No. Wait.
Now I have to make another edit. Wait a minute. I hate this game. Sonic Heroes. And people tell me they don't believe in the Antichrist. If it wasn't painfully obvious already, I really do not like this game. And we'd be here all day if I had to get into detail about why this game sucks. 1,000 subs and I'll make the Heroes video. But, just like 3D Blast, I don't have to play the game, thank God. It's CGI time, baby. Fine, I'll give this game an edit. Out of all the games I've covered so far, Sonic Heroes easily has the most in-game CGI. Besides the opening, each story has an opening CG cutscene, ending CG cutscene, and respective team battle cutscene. The final fight is the exception to this rule, as it focuses on preluding cutscenes to the final fight and Neo Metal's unnecessarily long transformation sequence. Good God, man, get on with it! And like Sonic Adventure 1 and Adventure 2, the CGI holds up surprisingly well. Dare I say it holds up better than the previous two games. But that's mainly due to what type of game Sonic Heroes is in comparison to Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. You see, the adventure games had a focus on a realistic art style, while Heroes had a focus on a cartoony art style. In general, cartoony CGI ages a lot better than realistic CGI, as the standards for realistic CGI grow with each new generational leap in technology. Where I'm going with this rambling is that Toy Story looks better than The Flash. My only problem with the CGI is the characters' heads are way too disproportionate with their bodies, making it look like they have bobbleheads. And honestly, that's really it for Sonic Heroes. This is the only time I'll ever say something good about the game, so savor it!
Discovering the secret of my past will be nearly impossible. I'll take those odds.
Nope, sorry to the Shadow fans out there. I have no dignity, and yet I still refuse to stoop this low. Shadow the Hedgehog, the world's greatest use of the Second Amendment. People like to say there's no such thing as a bad idea, to which I'd show them the atom bomb, Twitter, Netflix dramas, and a bush animal they show in petting zoos exerting his right to a firearm. This game is an elongated joke. You can laugh at it for a while, but then your lungs give out when Shadow talks about his past for the 500th time.
Now, I can uncover the truth about my past. I need to know about my past. I need these emeralds to uncover the truth about my past. I need these emeralds to help me uncover
do
my
ya?
past.
And while I'd love to tear this game a new one, in the ultimate display of irony, the CGI here is actually really good. Instead of being made in-house, the CGI for Shadow is outsourced to Blur Studios. Fun fact, this was home to a young Jeff Fowler, future director of the Sonic movies. And to say they cooked would be an understatement. While the other games had CGI decently well-aged, this is the new bar, making everything else look old in comparison. Models have been revamped and they look great. The animation is gorgeous. Everything just has a kinetic flow you can't find in the previous games. Effects just pop in a way they haven't before. This is an evolution and then some. You can really feel how fucking pissed Shadow is at this one guy. It heightens the story, what little good there was, to a new level, as scenes with it just can't compare to the dinky in-game cutscenes. Besides the material being edgier than a 14-year-old Tumblr user wearing a Tokyo Ghoul shirt listening to Linkin Park, I straight have no complaints here. Good job, Blur Studios. Next time, use this talent for good games. I said good games. Sonic 06. I'd come up with a clever insult, but a game journalist or YouTube critic from the 2010s had already said it before me. Look, I won't waste your time on telling you why this game sucks. Blah 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 glitches, blah 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 blah, the characters control like ass, blah 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 blah, the worst version of Beauty and the Beast I've ever seen. We've all heard this story before, but today, since the CGI of this game is excellent, I don't have to tear this game a very old one. A lot of the same things I've said about Shadow apply here, since Blur returned for the project. Lighting and animation are great, and there are new CGI models, since 06 had a focus on a lankier version of the cast, and they're pretty good. For the next-gen Sonic experience they were pushing for this game, this pretty much hits the mark. But here's the weird part. You see, I was only talking about half the CGI in this game, as the game seemingly has two types of CGI. One is top tier, the other is from Aldi's. Yeah, some CGI cutscenes aren't lookers. They're a blend of both the in-game and the Blur stuff, and unfortunately, it looks much worse compared to the high-quality stuff in almost every aspect. Worse models and animation, lighting takes a hit, and at least looks like a face crawler. So, the game is 50-50 split on CGI. But since the highs are so good, I can excuse the lows, which I wish I could say for the actual game. So good job, Sonic 06. At least you did something right. Now, it's finally time for me to discuss... No! Let's make this quick. The CGI for the Storybook games is alright, considering it's basically Diet Marza. The models and animation are basically the same, though Black Knight looks a little bit better considering Secret Rings has a weird sheen on the models. The CGI, however, is not that notable, just like the game, so let's just skip to the good stuff.
now, this is epic.
Sonic Unleashed is the greatest thing that ever happened. Take that, Jesus! This game is perfect.
Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
I could go on and on about how much this game means to me. From the story, to the gameplay, to the OST, to the CGI, baby! Yes, out with the old and in with the new, as Marza Animation Planet replaces Blur Studios with providing CGI. And if Blur kicked it out the park, then Marza kicks it off planet and into another galaxy. Really? What description could I give it that isn't more than look at it? This is movie levels of cinematics. Right from the word go, we're hit with animation that looks good over 16 years later. The 06 models have been replaced with updated ones from Shadow 2005 and they're stunning. Animation is at its peak, as the animators have taken advantage of almost every technique to their advantage. Sonic is squishing and stretching like a damn Looney Tune. Lighting is at its best. Everything has been beautifully reflected and shaded. Eggman's glasses are in 4K, and the content is amazing. The intro perfectly represents what Sonic is, as we see Sonic completely trashing Eggman's space base, and Eggman releasing his bowels on the planet, showing off both characters perfectly. It also beautifully explains the story and the stakes without almost any speech. The final fight is also accentuated with CGI, as it shows off how Lovecraftian and horrific Dark Gaia is, the scale of the Gaia Colossus, and Supersonic's badass transformation. 10 out of 10. This is not only the best so far, but the best in the series. And now, we come to a pit stop. I mean, not quite. I mean, there's colors and generations and then so on and so forth. But the thing is, Mars has stuck around. We've been basically seeing the same or less levels of CGI. Nothing changed. For a video about the evolution of CGI, there's no evolution to speak of. We're kinda at the end. Which is why we're doing the lightning round! Quick blurbs of what I think the next couple of games CGI was. Beautiful animation, short, concise, shows off all the wisps effectively with Reach for the Stars in the background. Peak. Even shorter and sweeter, showing off both Sonics in action effectively. Pretty good, but not as good as Colors. The first fully length intro since Unleashed, showing Sonic and Eggman duking it out in the sky over some flickies in the introduction to the Lost Hex. It's a pretty good starter. Besides the fact this is complete false advertising, this is actually really good. It's serious, it's gritty, it shows off the custom characters and the villains, and it's action-packed. My only complaint is that I wish this actually reflected the actual Game of Forces. The latest 3D game in the series, the CGI in Sonic Frontiers focuses a lot on the combat, much like the actual game. It also focuses on the mystery and the Titan fights. Overall, much like the other games, it's really solid. And we're at the end. That's been Sonic's evolution with CGI. It's evolved completely unrecognizably to where we started, yet kinda hit a bump in the road currently. Hopefully, Sega decides to evolve it some more, and when it does, I'll be there. Thank you so much for watching my first video. See you soon.